Hello and welcome to the United Stand. This is your daily Manchester United transfer news, giving you that real fan opinion on all the latest Manchester United transfer news and what can we expect as we start another new week. Personally, I just can't wait till we play Swansea on Saturday. But in relation to transfer news, what's going to come in the next 5 days? Will there be a Manchester United signing? We literally have about 2.5 weeks left of this transfer window. We know that Manchester United and Mourinho want to make some moves. What's likely to happen? Is it still Aurier and Perisic? Is there anything else that might come in? I expect there might be a little bit of a shock over the next couple of weeks. But as we stand at the moment, I think we're more probably thinking about who might be leaving Manchester United, and Andreas Pereira is a name that suddenly now is becoming quite a question mark. Fosu Mensah going to Palace and playing nearly the full game at the weekend and playing very well is only going to benefit Manchester United and give us a clear steer as to whether he's got a future. Andreas Pereira did that last season. He played in La Liga in a team that got relegated but was one of the best players in the league. He's ready. He doesn't need to spend all season, you know, hoping to get a space on the bench. He's not. He's past that. And I think because he was in Spain, some people don't realise what he actually did last year, and that was be a first team player in La Liga and play very well in it. He doesn't need to train with the first team for most of the year. He doesn't need to get sporadic minutes in League Cup games. He needs first team football. He's ready. If Mourinho doesn't feel he's ready in a Manchester United shirt, then there's two options. He either lets him go, which I think is ridiculous, or he does what he's done with Fosu Mensah and he gets him a Premier League club where he can play week in, week out, and we can see what he's really all about. I personally think he's ready and he needs to be part of the first team plans. But if he can't even be getting on the bench, which he can't at the moment, and we're still going to sign maybe 1 or 2 players, and we've still got 1 or 2 players to come back from injury, what chance has Pereira got of getting minutes this season? That is the bottom line, and I think that is why there's a big decision to be made around Pereira over the next 10 to 15 days. I'm a big fan of Pereira. I think whether he's got a future at Manchester United or not, he will end up being one of the best players in Europe, and I think Manchester United need to handle it very, very carefully. If Mourinho doesn't feel that he can give him minutes on the bench, he needs to give him minutes elsewhere at another Premier League club. There'll be plenty of takers, and I think that, as things stand at the moment, probably looks like the best option. I mean, let's be blunt. Ander Herrera might be struggling for a first-team place. Mata and Mkhitaryan, probably one of those will end up on the bench when we play the better sides. Where does Pereira fit in? I think we've got to be logical about it. Mourinho is the boss, and I think Pereira needs to go on loan to a Premier League club, but we'll wait and see what happens. In relation to signings, Spalletti, or however he wants to announce it, the Inter Milan manager has said that Perisic wants to stay at Inter Milan. Manchester United apparently quite close to getting this deal done. I wish we would get it done because we've been on about it all summer. I know a lot of people are waxing lyrical about Martial and Rashford and that they did very well yesterday. Beyond those 2 players, they are our best 2 flair players. Beyond those 2 players, we don't really have a winger. Perisic is 2-footed and he's a natural winger who can run at players and he's skillful. Even if we're getting him just to be a bit of a, not a squad player, but another option on the wing, we don't really have many options on the wing. That's why Perisic is imperative. And I hope we can get that deal done. If not, we still need a wide player. And you can start speculating about who that could be. I don't really think that there is anybody else out there that we are interested in that would be as consistent and as useful as a Perisic. So I still think that will happen. Whether it happened this week or not, I don't know. But I suppose United are probably a little bit reticent to spend £50 million on a player who may not get in the starting lineup. Which brings me to Anthony Martial. I think there's been a shift in the sand here. Martial, rumours of Tottenham wanting to put a bid in for him. I bet they do. I bet most top Premier League clubs would like Martial. Unlike people like Lingard and Fellaini, who I think most of the top 4 wouldn't go near. But Mourinho gets the best out of them. I think Martial, who Mourinho doesn't really use, most of the top 4 would want. Liverpool would want him, Arsenal, Spurs, Chelsea, maybe not City because of how well stacked they are, but certainly Spurs would want him, and they're the second best team in England officially. So we need to use it. But I think there's been a shift because I think Martial fans who like him, like me, sort of see him as this hard done by guy who doesn't get the minutes he deserves at United. And whilst that's true, he came on yesterday and he's the first player since 2008, which was Nani, to come on for 10 minutes and get a goal and assist and an assist. And so I think Martial has sort of created an issue now. And I'm glad he's created it, because he came on, he played well, he took his goal fantastically well. Even though you'd expect somebody to score from there, how many times have we seen United miss them sort of chances, especially last season, and especially people like Rashford, who needs to work on that. So Martial's put himself in a strong position, because I think 10 minutes, there's a goal, there's an assist, I played well as well. Are you going to play me next week, or are you going to keep me on the bench? And I think it sort of gives Mourinho a problem, which is a good problem to have, that clubs want Martial, the fans want Martial. Martial wants to play for Manchester United and has played well in pre-season and played well yesterday. Mourinho either picks him, or he does what I said last week. I want Martial to stay, but if Mourinho doesn't want him, I wish he'd just crack on and get rid of him, because it's frustrating when you've got a player of his quality, and I believe he is our best flair player, not being used. But for those who like Martial like me, I don't think he's going to go. And I think if he can keep up this form, he's going to create a position where Mourinho has to play him. And I think Martial playing at his best off Lukaku, out on that sort of left side, is a major, major asset. And I'm excited by it. So hopefully Martial's going to stay. But I like what's happening with Martial. He's now performing. So Mourinho can't use that excuse of, oh, his head's in the wrong place, or he's inconsistent. He is performing. He was consistent in pre-season, and he was consistent in the 10 minutes yesterday. And other clubs want him. So, interesting. Martial has to stay. Anyway, that's Manchester United transfer news for you at the moment. There is a load of nonsense talk I could sort of reach out and speak to you about, but I don't propose to do that. They're the big three things, I think, as we go in. There's always going to be a flip side of a great result like yesterday. But seriously, get commenting below. What do you think's best for Pereira? Do you think a loan to a Premier League move? Do you think selling him? Or do you think he should just stay and maybe get the odd bit of time on the bench and a couple of minutes in the League Cup? For me, I think he's beyond that. I think you probably didn't see what he did in La Liga. He needs first team football. And if we can't give him that at the moment, like we can't give it to Fosu Mensah, I'd get him a Premier League loan to someone like Bournemouth. I think it'd be perfect. And he'd get to know what the Premier League's about. And we, from afar, would get to see whether he is the real deal. I think that's the perfect move for Pereira. I love Pereira. I love Fosu Mensah. And I think that is probably the right move for him at the moment. But maybe have a retraction in there, like Chelsea did with that centre-back they got back from Bournemouth. Maybe not a season loan for Pereira, but maybe sort of a season loan with that option of bringing him back if we need to. That's what I think is best for him. Thanks everybody. I'll speak to you all later. Drop a like on the video. 8 o'clock tonight we've got Skype Goldbridge. If you missed it last night, fantastic show. Really, really good calls. And maybe give it a listen. Thanks for watching.